What happens when a global superstar walks into a live show and says something nobody expects? Well, today, you're about to see exactly that happen, right here on the Echo Scoop's coverage of The View. Make sure to subscribe to the Echo Scoop, and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The studio lights brighten, the audience claps louder than usual, and the hosts shift in their chairs as Rihanna sits comfortably in the guest seat, legs crossed, hands relaxed but eyes very alert like she knows the conversation is about to go somewhere unexpected. The camera moves in closer, and Whoopi leans forward with a warm smile. So Rihanna, she begins, first of all, thank you for joining us. We know your schedule is crazy these days. Rihanna nods, giving a simple, thank you for having me, followed by a soft laugh as the audience applauds again. Sunny jumps in quickly, you've been doing so much lately, business, motherhood, music. So before we jump into anything heavy, I want to ask, how are you actually doing? Like, really doing? Rihanna lifts her eyebrows, hesitates for barely a second, then gives a slow exhale. Honestly? I'm tired. But a good tired, you know? Life's full but it's beautiful. The audience lets out a soft, ah, and Joy immediately interrupts with her usual timing. Well, tired or not, you look better than all of us on our best days, she says, earning laughter from the crowd. Rihanna laughs too, shaking her head. The energy is smooth, easy, nothing out of the ordinary. But the tension begins to build when Sarah leans in with a more serious tone. So, we have to talk about something that's been all over social media, she says carefully. A clip went viral last week where people claim you reacted a certain way to, well, let's just say a question about your personal life. Rihanna gives a tiny smile, the kind that says she knows exactly where this is going but she's waiting for them to say it out loud. Whoopi immediately tries to steer it gently. Yeah, the internet is the internet, and people love to twist things. But is there something you want to clarify? Rihanna shifts her posture, the audience notices, and a few murmurs ripple through the crowd. She presses her lips together before speaking. Here's the thing, she says slowly. I'm not in the business of explaining myself to every rumor that pops up. I'm grown. I have kids. I have responsibilities. I don't owe the internet every detail of my life. The audience claps loudly at this, but Sarah looks slightly uncomfortable, like she wasn't expecting that response. Sunny jumps in, totally fair, absolutely fair. But I think people just... Rihanna lightly holds up a hand and Sunny stops mid-sentence, which instantly draws gasps and soft laughter from the audience. I get it, Rihanna says, and I'm not mad at y'all. But if someone asks me something disrespectful, I reserve the right to respond however I feel in that moment. Joy quickly adds, can you tell us what part you thought was disrespectful? Because I saw that clip, and honestly, I didn't blame you for reacting. Rihanna lets out a breathy laugh. Joy, please don't get me started. Now the audience is fully engaged. They're laughing, whispering, leaning forward. The hosts exchange quick looks, the kind that say, okay, this is going somewhere. Whoopi tries to lighten it. No, go ahead, get started. We're all ears. Rihanna rolls her shoulders back, tilts her head, and finally says it. People think because I'm famous, they can talk to me any way they want. Ask me anything they want. Push boundaries just for clicks. And I'm not doing that anymore. If someone crosses a line, I'll call it out, right there, right then. A few audience members shout, yes, and clap. But the moment shifts sharply when Sarah speaks again. I hear you, Sarah begins, but do you think maybe sometimes the reaction can seem a little strong? Especially when it's live TV. Rihanna slowly turns to look at her, not rude, not angry, just direct, and the audience instantly quiets down. Strong. Rihanna repeats. Sarah, if someone asks you something that's none of their business, what do you do? Smile and pretend it's fine. Sarah opens her mouth but doesn't respond immediately. The hesitation is long enough for the audience to feel the tension rising. Rihanna continues before Sarah can speak. I'm not fake. I won't be fake for TV. Whoopi steps in, holding up both hands. Okay, hold on, let me jump in before Twitter starts dragging all of us. The audience bursts into laughter, easing the tension just a little. Rihanna cracks a smile too, but it's clear the conversation hit a nerve. Sunny leans in, voice gentle. I don't think anyone wants you to be fake. I just think some people want to understand where you're coming from. That's all. Rihanna nods. Fair. And I respect that. But people also need to respect that I have boundaries. Being on a talk show doesn't mean I'm handing over my entire life. Joy blurts out, honestly, I wish I had your confidence. I can't even tell my neighbor to stop parking in my driveway. The audience laughs again, giving everyone a moment to breathe. But Sarah isn't done. Okay, so let's say someone crosses a line, she says. What's the right way for them to ask you a personal question, on a platform like this, without offending you? Rihanna thinks for a moment. Her expression softens slightly. If the question comes from a place of respect, I'll feel that. If it comes from gossip, or judgment, or trying to trap me into a headline, I feel that too. The audience nods. Sunny nods. Joy nods. Whoopi gives an approving look. But Sarah still looks uneasy. And Rihanna notices. You seem like you don't agree, Rihanna says to her directly. Say it. The audience reacts. Loud gasps, whispers. A few people even clap out of excitement. Sarah hesitates again, adjusting her mic wire like she needs a moment. It's not that I don't agree, she finally says. I just think. Sometimes celebrities forget that this is a conversation. We ask questions. You answer. That's the format. It's not personal. Rihanna smiles, but it's not a soft smile, it's sharp. Oh, it's personal, she says. When you ask about my kids, my partner, my body, my choices. That's personal. Whoopi snaps. Okay, let's not talk over each other. But Rihanna keeps going, not loud, just firm. And if I defend myself, that's not me being dramatic. That's me being human. The audience applauds loudly. A few people even stand up for a moment. Sarah looks genuinely surprised by how strongly the room is responding. Whoopi waves her hand dramatically. We gotta go to break before this turns into something that gets us all fired. Laughter erupts, and the camera pans across the audience. Mixed reactions, some cheering, some whispering, some wide-eyed like they didn't expect Rihanna to get so real so quickly. As the applause continues, Rihanna leans back in her seat, crossing her arms in a relaxed but confident posture. The hosts glance at one another, silently acknowledging that this interview has already taken a turn they didn't plan for, and they're only in the first segment. The camera cuts. The cameras fade back in, and the audience applauds as the hosts settle again. The energy feels different now, a little sharper, a little heavier, like everyone knows the conversation is about to pick up right where it left off. Whoopi clears her throat first. Okay, so we're back, and before the break, things got a little lively. She smiles, keeping the tone light, but the tension in the room is noticeable. Rihanna nods politely, but she's still sitting with the same confident posture from before. Sarah tries to smile too, though it comes off a little stiff, like she's mentally preparing herself. Sunny speaks gently. Look, I just want to say this. I think what Rihanna said is important. Celebrities don't owe the world every detail of their lives. And viewers sometimes forget that. The audience claps, not too loud this time, almost cautious. But Sarah jumps in quickly. I agree in theory. But this is also a show where we talk about real issues and ask real questions. If we only asked what celebrities want to talk about, this wouldn't be The View. Rihanna raises an eyebrow. So you're saying you didn't like my answer? Sarah hesitates for a moment. I'm saying, it felt defensive. Maybe more than it needed to be. The audience reacts instantly, a mix of gasps and murmurs. Whoopi closes her eyes like she already knows this round is starting again. Rihanna leans forward slightly, her voice calm but unmistakably direct. If a woman sets a boundary, it's called being defensive. If a man does it, it's called confidence. So which one is it here? The crowd erupts, claps, cheers, even a few shouts of exactly. Sarah looks genuinely taken aback. That's not what I meant. I wasn't talking about gender. But that's how it comes across, Rihanna says, not aggressive, but clear. Women in the public eye are constantly expected to be polite, gentle, patient. Even when the questions are invasive. Joy cuts in, look, I've done this show forever. And Rihanna's not wrong. The internet loves to attack women for anything. Sarah's shoulders drop just slightly, like she didn't expect both the audience and the panel to tilt this direction. Sunny tries to mediate. Maybe we're all saying the same thing but from different angles. Sarah's saying hosts have a job. Rihanna's saying she's a human being before she's a public figure. Whoopi snaps her fingers. Exactly. This is a conversation, not a courtroom. The audience laughs a little, easing the tension again. Rihanna finally offers a small smile. Look, I'm not here to fight. I'm just saying, I've grown a lot. And part of that is protecting my peace. Sarah lets out a slow breath. I respect that. I really do. I just want the audience at home to understand the full picture. Rihanna nods. Then ask with respect, and you'll get respect back. The crowd claps at this, not wild, not chaotic, but supportive. Whoopi looks into the camera. And that is why we have these conversations. Stick around, because after the break, things might get even more interesting. The audience reacts again, buzzing with anticipation as the camera fades out. When the show comes back from the next break, the atmosphere feels heavier but strangely electric. The audience is fully awake now, whispering among themselves as the cameras roll. The hosts reposition, and even the camera crew seems extra alert, sensing how unpredictable the conversation has become. Whoopi starts again, her tone calm but firm. Alright, we're back, and I want to remind everyone, we're here to talk, not tear each other apart. So let's breathe. The audience laughs softly. The guest gives a small laugh too, but her eyes stay focused. She's clearly prepared for whatever comes next. Sunny jumps in. Before we continue, I want to say something. What happened in the first segment wasn't drama. It was honesty. And I think viewers appreciate when someone famous sits here and speaks without filters. A few audience members clap, but Sarah doesn't respond yet. She's sitting a little straighter, trying to maintain her composure. Joy leans forward dramatically. And honestly, I've been on this show long enough to know when something's about to go viral. And today, yeah, this one's going viral. The audience laughs loudly, easing the tension for a moment. But then Sarah clears her throat. I want to clarify something, she says, voice steady but careful. I wasn't trying to disrespect you earlier. My point was simply that sometimes viewers want answers. And they expect us to ask tough questions. The guest watches her closely. I hear you. But tough questions don't have to be personal ones. Sarah lifts her hands. Fair. But that depends on how you define personal. The audience reacts again, a mix of murmurs and soft gasps. And the guest shifts in her seat, now leaning slightly forward. Okay, let me put it this way, she says. If a question feels like it's coming from curiosity, I'll answer. If it feels like it's coming from judgment, I won't. Sunny taps the table lightly. That's actually very reasonable. But Sarah doesn't let it go. But how do we know? We don't read minds. We just ask. The guest looks at her, a small smirk appearing. You can feel people's energy, Sarah. We're all women here. We know when someone is genuinely asking and when someone is trying to stir a pot. The audience cheers louder this time, they're fully invested now. Joy fans herself jokingly. Oh boy, the pot is boiling today. Whoopi sighs, shaking her head with a grin. Can everyone please stop boiling things on my table? The crowd laughs again, but Sarah presses on softly. Do you think maybe you walked in already expecting conflict? That question shifts the entire room. The guest takes a moment before answering. Honestly? No. I came here to talk. But I'm also not going to sit quietly if something feels off. Sarah nods slowly, showing the first hint of understanding. Okay, fair. But before the tension can settle, someone in the audience shouts, "We love you." And everyone laughs, breaking the moment just enough. Whoopi gestures toward the camera. This is what happens on live TV, folks. Emotions, opinions, and sometimes an audience member yelling from the third row. The guest chuckles. I'll take the love though. The atmosphere loosens again, but it's clear something deeper has shifted in the room. An unspoken acknowledgement that the conversation is not over, not resolved, just paused. Whoopi looks around the table. Don't go anywhere. Because after this break, we're talking about the moment from last week that everyone online still hasn't stopped discussing. The audience buzzes with excitement as the cameras fade out once more. The show returns from the final break, and the audience is louder than before. Clapping, cheering, leaning in because they know this last segment is about to take things to another level. The hosts settle into their seats again, and the guest adjusts her mic as the cameras lock onto the table. Whoopi sighs theatrically. Alright, welcome back. We've been having a lively day, and we're not done yet. The crowd laughs, and Joy jumps in instantly. I took my blood pressure during the break. It's up. I blame all of you. The laughter grows again, but Sunny brings the tone back. So let's address what the internet has been talking about all week. Sarah nods, pulling a card from the stack in front of her. Yes. Let's do that. The guest crosses her legs, watching them closely, prepared for anything. Sarah reads, last week during an event, someone asked you about your future plans, and your response, or at least the clip that went viral, made people think you were frustrated or annoyed. The audience murmurs, waiting. The guest nods slowly. Because I was. But not for the reason people think. Sunny leans in. Then what was the reason? The guest takes a breath. People love to reduce everything a woman says to irritation or mood. Sometimes, we're not annoyed, we're simply being honest. But honesty scares people. The audience applauds loudly, several people cheering. Sarah interjects gently, but some people online said your tone felt harsh. Then those people can feel free to live their lives however they want, the guest replies calmly. But I won't change who I am because strangers misread a 3-second clip. The room erupts, applause, cheers, even whistles from the back rows. Joy shakes her head dramatically. 3 seconds isn't even enough time for me to find my reading glasses. The guest laughs softly, but the moment quickly shifts again when Whoopi asks, So what's your message to people who think you're being too blunt? The guest looks directly into the camera for the first time today. My message? Stop expecting women, especially mothers, to stay quiet and polite. We are allowed to defend ourselves. We are allowed to speak. The crowd jumps to its feet, a partial but loud standing ovation. Some people are visibly emotional, clapping passionately. Sarah, watching the reaction, softens noticeably. Okay. I'll admit, seeing the audience respond like this, I get it more now. Maybe I misunderstood earlier. The guest gives a small, genuine smile. It's okay. That's why we talk. Sunny adds warmly, and that's what this show is for, honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Whoopi nods, wrapping things up. Before we end, I want to acknowledge something. Social media is already blowing up. Our team is telling me the clips from today are trending on 3 platforms. Joy widens her eyes dramatically. 3. I'm tired just hearing that. The audience roars with laughter. Whoopi continues, people are debating the boundaries topic, the respect topic, the honesty topic, and yes, some are debating Sarah. The crowd laughs again, and Sarah lifts both hands. It's okay, I can handle it. The guest smiles. You handled me. You'll be fine. Everyone laughs once more, letting the tension ease into something warm and human. Whoopi finally looks into the camera. Alright people, that's our show. And if you've been watching all this unfold, we want to hear from you. What do you think about everything that happened today? Did someone cross a line? Was the honesty refreshing? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the Echo Scoop for more real talk show stories. The audience applauds one last time as the cameras slowly pull back, capturing the hosts chatting among themselves, the guest laughing softly, and the crowd buzzing with excitement. Still talking, still reacting, still processing the moment.